Divine greetings and gratitude, tribe. Welcome back to our sacred space. Of course, I'm always honored, excited, and elated to be in your presence. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Nuna. I'm here to help you transcend beyond pain and suffering, manifest and expand your consciousness by merging the arts of poetry, writing, and magic. I know, y'all, we have not been here in a while, and the reason why is because I have been having my head down doing work for the new website that we have. Yay, I'm really excited. And making sure that we have a space for our writing pieces to live. For those of you that are new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, what I mean is that I'm a writer and a poet. So a lot of my offerings do come in the form of written word. It comes in the form of spoken word, and it also does come in the form of writing pieces and reflections and things like that. So that's the reason why I say that. And the reason why I do tarot or I read tarot is because, for one, it's how I am of service to my community, but also I do draw inspiration and I do receive downloaded messages, images, things that come through my intuition that can then be implemented into my poetry and writing pieces. If you go back to some of the videos that I've done, I actually use tarot or readings as a writing prompt, and then they will be implemented into the writing piece. I'll make sure to link a video down below of what I'm talking about, and then I'll also link to you the post on, I think it might have been on TikTok and Instagram, where I actually did a spoken word piece because of what I found or what came through a tarot reading. I'll make sure to link all of that below. You can read the poem on Substack, but it also lives on our website. So more than likely, I'll be putting the link to my website down below. Anyway, yes. Another update real quick, tribe, is that I actually ended up keeping the Saiyonan but that website will be used for all things magical, all things ritual. Even though writing is ritual, what I mean is that the magical side, where I'm teaching, where I'm being of service to the Ethereum and things like that, and also doing things for the private community, the Saiyonan circle, all of that stuff will still live on the Saiyonanpath.org, but nunamakai.com is where you'll get all the writing pieces, the poetry, the books, and things like that. I needed to keep those things separately because of background logistics and foundational stuff that I'm not going to bore you with all those details. But anyway, I'll make sure to have all links down below in the description box. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the reading. I hope that you are comfortable and that you are well. Let's go ahead and get back into shuffling. So the words that I ended up hearing was stay in your own lane. Stay in your lane. That is what I ended up hearing. And it's interesting because I feel like the reason why I heard stay in your own lane is because it's, for one, it's just simply a way for you to have the most ultimate protection, right? And I feel like staying in your own lane allows you to keep yourself clear of any energies. It keeps you focused. It keeps you in a space where you are not comparing yourself to what other people have, right? You're not so focused on other people's things, like you then tend to neglect what you have going on, right? Like, make sure that your garden, that your stuff that you are growing is green, is lush, is red, and it's filled with so many, and when I say red, I mean tomatoes and things like that. Like, make sure that your squash is fertilized. Make sure that your corn is growing properly. Make sure that your things are growing appropriately, right? Don't worry about what somebody else's garden has going on, right? Or what somebody else has going on in their garden. Worry about what's going on in your own grass, if that makes sense. And it's one of those things where you don't want to do it. Maybe you are doing it from a selfish place, yes, but then it's necessary, because imagine if you are constantly tuning out of what you have going on to go put your ideas and whatever into someone else's. Sometimes you can get kind of caught up and entangled in that person's either, I know that we like to use the word karma. So for lack of better terms, karma or lessons, right? You end up getting entangled in that, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that what you have going on is for you. And staying in your own lane, I do feel like I just heard like the influence of choice. Staying in your own lane eliminates any type of influence of choice. Like, you don't want to be influenced by anything that is going on outside of you. And chances are you're somebody that is very sensitive, and Spirit is saying to stay in your own lane and to worry about what you have going on, because it eliminates any type of infiltration. And I feel like that, to me, is such a respect to your spirit when you are allowing yourself to focus on what you want. Speaking of focusing on what you want, you have the well card here, which I'm super happy to see. I also feel like, okay, you have the birds here. There's something about somebody, oh my goodness, and you have the snake. Okay, so there's something very specific about someone utilizing their words to try and influence. Like there's this idea of like influence, right? Where they try to influence the things that you want. They influence your decision making. They influence the way that you feel. They try to do those things because it serves them and not you. It could be because they're afraid of your power. It could be because of what you have going on and they're afraid that you're going to make it. Sometimes people do that because they feel like they will feel better about themselves if you are where you're at, because it makes them comfortable. It's easy for you to compare, and it's easy for them to feel like that they're not in survival. But the moment that you start to stay in your own lane, when you start to mind your own business, when you start to leave them out of your decision-making process, it only helps to elevate you. And even if they were proud of you, and even if they weren't, that doesn't really affect you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you may not like the praise. Fine, whatever, you can like that, but Spirit is saying don't get so caught up in that to where then that praise or whatever they feel or believe about you becomes a driving factor as to what you do. Make your decisions your decisions. And Spirit is saying that they want you to draw a boundary between what you are receiving, what you're putting your mind into, what you're putting your energy into, and what you are rejecting, right? Spirit is wanting you to draw a line between yourself and someone else and saying, this is my half, this is yours. I'm going to worry about what I have going on here. You need to worry about what you have going on over there, because if you keep crossing me, it's going to plague my garden. I don't need your energy here, and I won't put my energy in yours. It's a matter of respect, and it's a matter of boundary. And it's interesting because I feel like deeper than that, it's about spiritually protecting yourself. Because imagine if you were constantly putting your nose or your energy into somebody else's stuff, then you're becoming entangled in their, let's just say, lessons. You don't want to become entangled in that. And why would you want somebody else entangling their energy in yours or intertwining where it's not needed? So there's something about having a really strong boundary and having respect for yourself enough. And that's why they're saying for you to stay in your own lane. And I also feel like there's going to come a time where you are going to be given a choice, or you're going to have to make a decision. And I want you to make that decision from a space of intuition, from a space of your higher self, from a space of your higher knowing, from a space of divine clarity. Sometimes it takes you not making a decision, but I do feel like whatever decision you make, they are not wanting you to be influenced by anybody else. When I say they, I mean your ancestors, your guides, the divine, and things like that. They don't want that for you because it's too easy for people to infect. Like there's something about an infection here, like an infection or a disease or something where it needs to be like drawn out. Like it's something that it's like there was an implant. I'm hearing something about an implant where something was implanted and it kept growing and it was hard to get out of. It's like those movies. I'm going to flip these cards over in a second. It's like those movies that you see. I can't remember what movie that was, but it was somewhere where they had like an implant, and an implant, it just couldn't come out. And every time they tried to remove it, it just kept going. Like, I think it was like behind the ear or something like that. That's the vision that I'm getting with the words that someone's using. This has everything to do with chatter, talking. This is also social media. I want you to, if you feel called to, and I know that I'm rambling. Thank you for letting me ramble here. But yes, if you are on social media, you may be called to pull back, because if you keep immersing yourself in this, it's going to plague you. It's going to start to, in a way, turn the wheel on where you're going, because then you're going to start trying to do it according to what people are thinking, because you don't want to feel unsafe around people who have bigger platforms or people who have a bigger following. I'm going to tell you something right now. There was a point in time in history that's so funny. I'm so dramatic. There was a point in time along my journey where I stated, and this was back when I was over at Magic of Eden, I specifically stated that there are people who are influencers, who are people's favorites and things like that, that some of them were going to start being shown for the things that they don't deal with, that they were going to be exposed. I said that. And it's not one of those I told you so moments, but it is to say that that time is coming back around again. And what are you getting yourself into? What are you peering into? What are you giving your attention to? See, this has everything to do, even though I don't see eyes here or like a magnifying glass, I'm seeing that someone is giving their attention to something. And I remember saying back in the day that there were going to be people who are going to be exposed for the things that they are not talking about. And people will get tired of this influencer thing. And I don't know why that's coming through right now. So if you're someone, and that's why it's coming through, because I did mention social media. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for keeping me on track. So yes, social media, you're wanting to tune out of that, because the space can unfortunately become toxic. And no matter how much you put the word spiritual on it, it doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it well. It doesn't mean that it's, all fine and dandy. No, it is not. And I'm not saying that anyone is wrong in what anyone's doing, but what I am saying is that you don't want to get caught up in anything that you have nothing to do with, and you don't want to indirectly feel fearful because of what's going on out there, thinking that somehow it's going to affect you. It's not going to affect you if you stay in your lane. It's that simple. It will not affect you if you stay in your lane. I don't know why I'm saying that. I just know that I feel it, and I feel it deeply. Stay in your own lane. Do not allow yourself to make decisions based upon what anyone else is saying or doing. That's just what the message is. Look, you can't look. Okay. See, right? Like, do you see what I mean? It's like we have decision making here, right? You have the stairway. Watch this be. I'm done. I'm so done. I'm so done. I was so done. So you see that, right? Like look, like I don't even remember that Cardi B. Look. I'm so done. Oh my God. I love that. So funny. Okay. So moving back, coming back down. Anyway, so basically, yes, you have the you have the moon here, you have the stairway. Exactly. When you tune in to your own, and I feel like we said that you were someone who's very sensitive, or you may be someone who's sensitive, but and because of that sensitivity, it's like you pick up on so many things, like you pick up on a lot. And I feel like that's another reason why Spirit is trying to protect you, because they know, like Spirit knows. When I say Spirit, I mean the Divine Mother. I mean the divine that we are all a part of, that we all stem from. That's what I'm talking about. I don't believe in certain things. I believe that we are all God. That's just what I believe in. Okay. So basically, yes, I feel like the divine is wanting to protect you in this, in whatever it is that you got going on. And they're saying that it is a non-negotiable that you mind yours. Like, don't get so caught up in what other people is, what they got going on. Don't immerse yourself into these things. Tune into what you have, because what you have going on is so important. You're creating, you're building. Of course, you're going to need to mind your business. Of course, you're going to need to stay in your lane. I just heard the word people pleasing. Someone here really is you. I just feel like you are someone, okay? Don't get mad at me, okay? This is judgment coming out here, okay? I do believe, and I feel that you were someone that definitely did make decisions because you wanted to stay safe, but you also didn't want other people to feel left out, or you didn't want other people to feel certain things or view you in a certain way. And that is a form of control. Whether you want to, accept it or not, that is a form of control, because you're trying to control the way people perceive you, which is the reason why you manipulate the decisions. Like, it's the reason why you manipulate. It's because you don't want them to see you in a certain way, because you don't want to feel like you're doing something wrong. And I get that. And I'm not saying that you have a malicious intent. I'm saying that is just simply manipulation. At the end of the day, what Spirit is saying is that you have to be so empowered to where no matter what decision you make it because based upon your own better judgment, right? The divine judgment, that it is good. And people are going to feel how they feel, but you are powerful. You are the powerful being. You have things going for yourself. You have to be willing to do what you must do in a way that brings balance, tranquility, harmony, and balance. I think I said that, but you have to be willing to do that in that way because it promotes love, happiness, well being, and compassion for yourself, but also for others. And let's just say, for example, if you have to cut the cord, cut the cord. If you have to break the bond, break the bond. At the end of the day, what we have to focus on is that there are some things that want to be handed to you, but spirit is like, I'm not giving you anything until I can entrust that you are minding your business. Because imagine if I gave you the world, you give it away thinking that it's going to make people like you, thinking that it's going to make people want to love you more, thinking that it's going to make people want to see you differently. And why would I ever give you anything knowing that you're going to do that? I will hold it first. And I feel like that's what this Ace of Coins in reverse is saying. It's like spirit is like, I'm holding it. I'm not giving it to you until I know that you are going to do what you must do to invest in this wisely. And it's all about your actions. And I feel like I don't want to make this sound like it's coming from outside of you, but it very well could be. I mean, this, what I'm feeling also could be an ancestor. This also could be someone that you have been communicating with. It could be an actual person. It could be someone from your spiritual team. Who knows? But there is some type of withholding. There's something being withheld. See, they want to give you things. Who they are is up to you and your life, in your life journey. But there's some energy that does want to give to you, but they're calling judgment. They're looking at it and they're observing it. This judgment card is like, listen, this is what I'm learning about you. This is what I've seen. And you're also learning how to better deal with finances, how to better deal with resources, how to better deal with time, attention, whatever this is, whatever it is that needs to grow. They're saying that you are learning how to truly hold it, how to nurture it and those things. And they will not give you anything. They, meaning your spiritual team, they won't unless you, damn, this is going to sound, I don't like saying this. I don't like saying this because I feel like you shouldn't have to prove anything, but I just, for lack of better terms, before you don't have to prove yourself at this point, because there's something about, and I don't mean to sound so clinical or harsh, but it does feel like you really do have to learn how to stand your ground, mind your business, and really be about that and not be afraid to stand in that. And I just feel like that's just what it is. And it's not to say that they don't love you, but they're saying that you are way too powerful to sit here to be keeping your eyes and your ears on what everybody else is doing. They really are drawing a boundary here, and they're telling you to draw a boundary with yourself, and they love you enough to tell you that. Now, this message is not going to resonate for everybody. Maybe you have to tell somebody else this. Chances are, if you're listening to this right now, you may be telling somebody else this. And they're saying, do not be afraid to say that. Do not be afraid to say that, because sometimes I know people don't like hearing this, but if you're in this space, it just is what it is, honey. You are somebody else's karma. And sometimes you are somebody else's teacher, and you are the person that has to let them know you need to mind your business. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to be that person. And it's so funny because you would think that that's a contradiction. It's like, well, why would I tell them that? I got to mind my own business. Now, if they're coming to you and telling you these things, then you would have to say that, right? Well, not have to, but then you can say that. But again, as stated, sometimes you are that person's karma. Sometimes you are that person's lesson, and they have to learn that shit. So imagine you're trying to stay in your lane and somebody else is, oh, but you know, what about this? Listen, you just need to mind your business. See, the reason why you keep going through this stuff is because you keep giving your energy to that, and you're never going to get out of it unless you stop giving your attention to it. Now, stop coming to me with this, because you just simply need to do what you need to do. It's not the fact that I don't love you. It's the fact that you keep feeding into it. And what am I going to do? I'm not going to be your emotional dump. If you feel that you want to keep revisiting this, and either one, perhaps maybe you can go to another community member, or two, you can just let it be, mind your business, and do what you need to do. I don't mean to sound harsh, right? I don't mean to sound harsh, but sometimes people need to hear that. They need that firm redirection. Otherwise, they'll keep bumping their head into the same brick wall. And it's like, girl, dude, like, that brick wall has been there before you were born. Like, why do you think it's going to move? It's not going to move for you. Like, it's not going to work. Just go around it. It's funny because we're talking about big walls here, but here's the mountain. That mountain ain't going no damn where. That mountain going to always be there. And guess what this little being here was doing? Can you see that? Minding his business. I know y'all are probably sick of me right now. I don't mean to be that way. We all have personality, okay? Anyways, so yes, I feel like that really just is the message. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling cards for the Saiyonan circle because I need to upload. Is there anything else divine before I just heard the word magnificence? They're letting you know how magnificent you are. You are so magnificent. And I just heard the word radiance. They're saying that you are very radiant and you're very magnificent, and they really want you to trust that. And they're saying for you to be that energy, be magnificent, be radiant, be vibrant. And I'm seeing the color yellow, and I'm seeing like the color red. I just heard the word hot. I just heard the word steam. Oh, I just heard have a cigar. That's so weird. I think that could be, that's not weird, but it's more like it could be ancestral. Like I would never tell you to smoke anything. No, I'm not saying that. But I just heard have a cigar. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting is like when you get a certain age and you finally have that drink with your, let's just say your mom or your dad or whoever, your granddad, whoever, I don't know, but, or your uncle or somebody or your aunt. And they're just like, here, have a drink with me. And they know you drink. You may hide it, but they know you drink, right? Like they knew that. And they're just like, here, have a drink with me. And then they give you that lesson that you needed. I don't know why I'm getting that energy right now. That's the vibe I'm catching. It's like someone's ancestor is like, have one of these. And then you just like all coughing because you don't know how to do it. So you cough, you're just like, then they look at you like amateur. I don't know why that's funny. Okay, anyways, I love you guys very, very much. I know this reading was very different. I don't know if I'm going to draw anything from here, or maybe I will. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But anyways, I really do hope that this helps someone here. Just know that you are so amazing. You're doing everything that you need to do. Just remember to stay in your lane, and your garden will always be fruitful, and you will always have success, vitality, warmth, radiance, and love. Okay? If you need anything from me, please feel free to visit me online over at the SaiyonanPath.org to keep up with my writing pieces, reflections, poetry, and all offerings related to writing. Please make sure that you visit NunaMakai.com. That will be down in the description box. Make sure that you are also a part of the Saiyonan Circle by clicking any of the links down below that take you there. And I'm really excited to have you along this journey with me. All other links that you will need will be down below. Make sure that you reserve your essentials from the Ethereum, because that is where I handcraft spiritual essentials to help you on your path of remembrance. That is all for now. I love you. Take care, and I'll catch you in my next video.